Hey y'all, so I feel like the camera is just so close. Oh my gosh, we're gonna back this up. Yeah, this is a disaster. It is morning when I'm making this, so I excuse my language and my words. As you guys might have seen in my last Teach for America video about the pros and cons of joining TFA, I was a core member in 2017. I was in the greater Tulsa area. I feel like now that I'm out of TFA, I have a lot of opinions and I'm able to see things a lot more clearly about TFA, because when you're like in it, you just like can't see around you because you're already overwhelmed with teaching and all of the responsibilities that you have as an adult. Hindsight is 2020, but here are a few things that I wish people had told me or talked about with me before I joined TFA. Number one, don't compare yourself to everyone. Teach for America is full of high achievers and people who were like student council president and people who really want to succeed and are going to probably do really well as teachers, and some of them are not going to do well as teachers. And so you got a lot of high achievers. It's really easy to compare yourself to everyone and just feel like you're a terrible teacher, you're a terrible person. You might think you're doing a better job. You might see people in TFA who are not doing that great and you think, oh, they're like terrible people. And you can get really puffed up thinking that you're great, or you could look at someone who's like teacher of the year, their first year of school, and you're not that person and you're like, wow, I suck as a teacher. I'm not doing as much. I'm not, staying up until midnight doing lesson plans. Should I be staying up until midnight to do lesson plans? The answer is probably no, you should not. Everyone in TFA, at least during my core experience, it seemed like everybody was killing it and doing a great job. And I just felt awful all the time because I was having a really hard time. Just take all of that with a grain of salt and don't compare yourself whether it's good or bad. At the end of the day, you're gonna have your own classroom with your own students, and they don't care about all of the other teachers in TFA who are doing all these great things. They're there for you and they care about what you're teaching them. So focus on you. Focus on what you're doing in your classroom. Don't focus on everybody else's classroom and be like, oh, I have to do that and I have to do that. Just do your own thing because your students are there for you. Number two, don't let data define you. TFA loves to use data for like everything. And at the end of your year, the data might tell you that you're an amazing teacher and you're above average and above normal, but it also might tell you that you're below normal or that you're just average. And it's really easy to think like, because the data says it and because this is like facts, that you're this type of teacher. You're not worth more or less because of the data. Remember, students are just there for you. Just focus on you and being the best you can be. Don't worry about all of the things around you. Number three, talk to people outside of TFA and make friends outside of TFA. It might be comfortable at first, especially to stay in your little TFA bubble, and TFA really loves to try to make community, which is great. But it's easy to stay in that bubble and make it an us versus them mentality at school, or even just like in the teaching world. You think like, we're TFA, we're so great. And I saw this a lot in TFA where people like looked at other teachers and were like, oh, they're terrible. Make friends outside of TFA, especially at your school. Like there's likely going to be veteran teachers and people who have been in the teaching world a lot longer than you, and they have advice and help to give you. Maybe they don't have the TFA advice, but everybody has something to offer. So be open-minded towards other teachers and towards people outside of Teach for America. And I know that for me, I started just like, I feel like falling apart. Once I started making friends outside of Teach for America, I started to feel like a real person again, and I felt like I was a person outside of teaching. Get involved in your community. Number four, and this is one that just bugs the crap out of me. Do your homework. What I mean by that is sometimes TFA wants you to turn in data or grades, or they want you to do some sort of work. Do the work. Teaching is overwhelming as it is, and then you have a Teach for America thing or a person asking for more from you, and you already feel stretched thin. But remember that you applied to be in this program. They rejected people to accept you, and you should be grateful for that. I just feel like if you applied for this program, they're giving you lots of benefits from joining. Like, they're literally, because through the AmeriCorps program, you're literally getting like thousands of dollars of scholarships, and you're being ungrateful by not doing your work or not doing what is expected of you in the program. It's like applying for a job, you get the job, and then they tell you to do something and you're like, nah, I don't really want to do it, it's stupid. If you don't want to do the work in TFA and you don't want to do what's expected of you, then don't join Teach for America. And I know that you might have other things to do, but this is also one of them. It can be hard to remember it sometimes. It's one thing if you're forgetting it and you just need to be reminded, but don't just not do it because you think it's stupid. And number 5, this is one that I just really don't think is actually ever talked about, and it's beware of extremes. People either love TFA or hate TFA. They think everyone's evil. Beware of extremes, because that's what starts being closed-minded, whether it's like thinking it's us versus the world, or it's like, I hate TFA, it's doing everything bad and awful, and they're terrible. I mean, they might not do everything perfectly, but there are some good things and good people coming out of Teach for America. So beware of extremes. Don't get super caught up in the TFA bubble or in the anti-TFA bubble saying it's like terrible and everything sucks. Don't block out people's viewpoints. I saw this a lot in Teach for America, and it worried me, where they like won't even talk to them. They won't associate with them. They become so closed-minded because of their ideology. Remember that it's just an ideology. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's true. Listen to people, listen to other viewpoints. Don't get so extreme that you literally block out people's views because you're so set on what you believe. To summarize all this, don't compare yourself to others. You're gonna be fine. Don't let data define you. It doesn't determine your worth. 3, make sure you make friends and talk to people outside of Teach for America, whether they're at your school or in the community. It'll help your mental health so much. Number 4, do your homework. Don't be the person who never shows up to the meetings, never turns in their data, or something that Teach for America wants them to do. Remember that Teach for America has accepted you. They've rejected, thousands of other people who would probably be grateful to take your place. And number 5, remember to beware of extremes. Keep an open mind. Teach for America is just one organization. So remember to keep an open mind at Teach for America sessions, outside of Teach for America. Try to understand where people are coming from. Honestly, just keep an open mind. I hope that you do all these things and that you have a great time in your Teach for America experience, and that's my phone. And that's the end of this. See you guys later. Bye.